Chris, how much do you think it changed the complexion of the game when Bogues had leg cramps or whatever, and I think Holyfield got 4 fouls? Do you think that changed them at all?
Yeah, I'm sure from Kyle's perspective, when you lose one of your better players and he was playing so aggressive, absolutely. I think, foul trouble in the first half kind of put us in the same situation. But, I would think that Kyle would tell you that affected him because he's a really good player that was playing so aggressive. We were game planning for him every time out.
Move to coach's left on the aisle.
Ryan Willett, ESPN San Antonio. Coach, you were running the high horn set a lot in the second half. What were you trying to get out of that?
A basket. No, Stephen F. Austin plays pressure defense. We put it in the same category as West Virginia in our conference or South Carolina in our non-conference schedule. So it's important to get the ball into play. And, you can do that individually, a guy V-cutting or in and out or back cutting, but then sometimes you got to get some X's and O's involved to just make the first pass. And, that horn set was good to us in the second half.
Coach, let's go up front here on this right side.
Coach, you've already talked about the respect that you had for SFA, but when you look at these seedings, they're definitely not a 14 seed, are they?
No, they're a really good team. Look, they passed the eye test. They make sure I get this right. I've watched so much film, but they beat LSU. They lose to Missouri by 1 point. They've won true road games at places like Louisiana Tech. They had a great run in their conference, which to me, being a Texas guy, I understand how good the Southland Conference is and how good the coaching is, and it's probably the most underrated conference, good basketball and good coaches. And then they do what's, to me, the toughest thing to do in all of sports, and that's to win your conference tournament after you've had a great season. And I think it's more pressure-filled than Game 7 in the NBA Finals or the Super Bowl. I've never participated in those, but when I was at Little Rock, we had a special season. And it gets down to that championship game of your conference tournament, and you have to win it to advance. And it's a different level of pressure and stress. So just the fact that Stephen F. Austin did that, that's all I needed to know personally about how tough this team was. So I think they're a really good basketball team, and we're just pleased to win the game. Got a lot of respect for their players and their coach.
Let's go over to the coach's left side toward the front.
Coach, I know you mentioned this would be a game of runs. You guys had that run at the end with the defensive stop, and then Zaire had that nice little V-cut kind of in there to get the dunk. What did you kind of see from your team just knowing that they had to kind of grit their way to a grinded-out victory?
Yeah, I was really proud of that ending, Carlos. That's something we've been working on for 2 years. Finish was our motto. Last year when our season ended sooner than any of us would have wanted, we regrouped, and we just decided that the thing's got to be finished because we were so close last year. So finishing doesn't just mean close games. It means finishing the semester academically, or finishing in the weight room, your last couple of reps, or finishing in the individual workouts. Basically just a mindset to finish. Like in football, the whole fourth quarter deal, we wanted to finish. And tonight, on the biggest stage, the biggest game of the season, I thought we did a great job finishing the game late. And we had different players do it. Keenan Evans is a great player, and everything he gets, he deserves. But we're a team. And tonight, whether it's the Justin Gray pass or the Brandon Francis corner three or the Zach Smith block, it's just great to see our plan, a team win where everybody embraces the idea of finishing. I thought we were a confident team late, and I thought our coaching staff, did a great job keeping it positive as well.
Extreme left, underneath the TV light.
Hey, Coach Beard, Kevin John, CBS 19 and Tyler. You guys didn't take your first lead of the second half till around 3 minutes left in there. And obviously you busted it open the last few minutes. Can you just explain what SFA was doing that was so efficient defensively throughout the whole second half, and what was just so, I guess, an annoyance of them just hanging around and being able to be productive?
Yes, sir. I think I can answer that. They're one of the best defensive teams in college basketball. I mean, they really are. Like, their turnover margin, I think, is number one. I know we were telling our guys all week long they cause more turnovers or the differentials more than West Virginia. That got our guys' attention. I can step up there and talk all night, and I don't know if they listen or not, but when I say, hey, these guys make you turn it over like West Virginia, they listen. And so, yeah, I just think it was them playing their game. They've been doing that all year, whether it be their non-conference wins, their successful run through the Southland Conference, winning a championship in the conference tournament. They're just a good defensive team. They do it in different ways. They'll trap, they'll deny, they press, and then above all, it's just discipline. It's a Kyle Keller team. They're not going to make mistakes. They're hard. They're tough. We're pleased to get this win. I would agree with the first question. That's not a 14 seed. That's one of the best teams, I think in college basketball this year.
We will stay here on the left toward the front.
Coach, Brandon hadn't hit a couple threes here in the last game. He'd been missing some open shots. And that three he hit tonight, how big was that, not just for him, but for the momentum? And it seems like that's really when y'all kind of grabbed it.
Yeah, first I think we had to talk about the pass. They trapped the ball out of Keenan's hands. I think we made the extra, then we made the extra. The spacing was good. I was really pleased tonight. I think we had 25 baskets and we have 14 assists. So 14 assists on 25 baskets on 14 passes. That's the way we want to play. That's balance. That's a little bit of motion, but more important, just spacing. And then Brandon, Brandon's worked hard to earn the right to make that shot. Brandon's a guy in our 300 club. He makes 300 every day, 7 days a week. I think you got to give our student managers and our graduate assistants, the guys that put in the long hours for him, rebounding the ball. But that's a team thing when a guy makes a shot like that. But I was proud of Brandon Francis.
Closing questions now for Coach Beard. Here on the right, inside aisle.
Chris, as long as Keenan's been around here in college and suffering through turf toe and ankle sprains and stuff, how much do you feel like he kind of epitomizes college basketball?
I think he's definitely a part of it, and I would put Carter from West Virginia and Graham from Kansas. That's no disrespect to Graham. He's a great player. But I think Keenan would have been the Big 12 Player of the Year. I believe that. If I didn't believe that, then, I shouldn't be coaching at Texas Tech. But, this guy's a special player, and I think his story is he's not a McDonald's All-American. He's not even a top 100 guy, and he just gets to school and he starts working. And I think you got to give Tubby Smith and his staff with Joe and Vince and Pooh and those guys credit too. They laid the foundation, and then I think you got to give our staff some credit. And then above all, you got to give Keenan Evans credit. This guy has willed himself into one of the best players in college basketball. So I think, the one and done and the great players, that's a part of college basketball. Those guys deserve it because they're so talented. But I think the Keenan Evans story, the Javon Carter story, the Devontae Graham story are just as special. These are guys that just, continue to get better. And I just love coaching him. I just don't want it to end. I just want to coach that guy another day. It's like when you go to a good movie and, it's getting towards the end, but you're loving the movie so much you want it to go a little bit farther. Or, you got a good plate of enchiladas and you're looking at it, you only got 2 bites left, but it's so good, you turn it into 3 bites. I want it to keep lasting. I'm so glad that we get to go back to the hotel and I get to coach these guys another day. Can't wait till tomorrow to prepare, and then certainly Saturday a chance to play again. But guys like Keenan make this job great, and this is all about the players, and we got good players.
We'll take one last question for Coach right here on the left.
Coach, what did you think about the beginning of the game and your team's mindset and mentality in the early portion of the game?
I thought our young guys looked a little bit starstruck on this stage. That's understandable. Thought our veterans did a good job kind of calming them down. We had good productive timeouts. Patience is not one of my strengths. Pretty emotional guy, but I thought that the coaching staff did a great job with me to kind of prepare me. Long game, let's hang in there. So it wasn't our best of starts, but you got to give Stephen F. Austin credit. I've said it many times. I hate the guy that sits up here and talks about we didn't play well, and never talks about the opponent. Like, we didn't start the game well because Stephen F. Austin's a really good team, and they took some things away from us. But we did calm down, and to be in the game at halftime, that's all you ask for in this tournament. It's a long game.